Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Lori, aka Loretta Chow, the sex reporter. I am starting a new series on this channel called Miata Mondays, just because, well, as you can see, I drive a Miata, and there are times where when I'm in the car and I'm like, damn, you know, I could be using this time to be making videos, and I think there's a bit of a void on my channel in terms of being able to update you on what's going on with me and just like general chit chat type of stuff. And so this seemed like a perfect opportunity to do that. I set the car up so that I can actually record. So for Miata Mondays, I'm gonna just update you guys on what I'm doing every week, just to have a chance to, you know, catch up and stuff like that. And this week, I'm actually finishing up the part twos of two series that I started this past month. One about Brazilian women and them answering, you know, questions about stereotypes for dating and sex in Brazil, and the other about being single over 30. The being single over 31 is already done, actually. I finished editing that. It's set to publish in the morning on Wednesday, so look out for that in a couple days. And the Brazilian women one will probably go up the week after. And at that point, I'm actually going to be traveling on a business trip. I'll be in Asia. And, you know, I'll have that queued up so that the channel doesn't go dry while I'm there. For those of you who don't know, I live in Queens, and it's the most diverse county in the US. There's a neighborhood for like every country in the world represented here in Queens, and I'm in the Chinese neighborhood. I'm in Flushing, where my family lives. I come here every week to see them, and the traffic is crazy because I'm pretty sure like the majority of ethnic Chinese people who live in the tri-state area, as in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, come here every weekend to see family, to grocery shop, to see the doctor, whatever. Like the Chinese community, like the heart of the Chinese community in this region is here, and that's where everybody comes, which just means a lot of traffic jams, a lot of disrespectful ass people because it's so crowded and nobody wants to follow traffic laws, and they'd be jaywalking and whatever. But you know, that's what you get when you live in Queens. It's a little messy, but I like it. I like having access to my culture. The other big thing that I'm sort of dealing with this week is YouTube censorship. So it's not hard censorship. I haven't had videos taken down or anything, but someone has taken it upon themselves to flag my videos to YouTube, and then I keep getting these emails that are like, oh, upon review, your video was flagged, and upon review we've decided that it's not appropriate for all ages. And then they gave me a link to appeal. I have one chance to appeal. There's a character limit, and unfortunately the character limit is so short that I can't like explain the nuances of why content shouldn't be, you know, censored or put behind a wall just because it's about sex. There are age appropriate ways to talk about sex. There are safe for work ways to talk about sex, all of which take place on this channel. I mean, I do cuss a little bit, but it's like nothing worse than, you know, the stuff that you see in music videos or other types of entertainment content on YouTube and on traditional media. So, I mean, we'll see how that works out. You know, I understand the difficulty in dealing with this because they have such massive amounts of content to filter through and whatnot. And of course, advertisers, you know, have a stake in this. And there are also very conservative groups in our country, in the US, who, you know, want to cleanse the internet for their children and whatnot. I inherently just don't agree with those things. You know, to me, it's like, if you're a parent and you're worried about certain things, you know, your kids being exposed to certain things, the world can't shut itself down for the sake of your child. Like, you're gonna have to figure out how to do that yourself. And there's great technology and internet filters and parental controls out there that are not 100% foolproof, but you know, they will at the very least give you some tools to help shelter your child if that's what you want to do. Now, it's a whole other debate whether you should be sheltering your child. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that kid's not going to get exposed to stuff once they get to school or once they grow up and get to a certain age, like preteen or whatever. But that's a whole other argument. It's none of my business how you parent your kid. But, you know, for me, it's like, I don't think content decisions and rating decisions and stuff like that should be decided by the most conservative segment of society at any point in time. I just happen to be a person who believes in freedom of speech and all this other stuff. I mean, I do come from a media background, so there is that. But I think it's silly. And I also think that, to be honest, my content is not that racy. I'm not posting pornographic images. Not that I even think there's anything wrong with pornographic images. And it's not like people are not finding them anyway below the age of 18. But it is what it is. And so I have appealed the two videos that I know of that were flagged. And just so you know, in general, the vast majority of videos on my channel are demonetized as it is because the word sex appears in the headline or something like that. To give you an example, I had the last video that I did on being single over 30 was originally titled something like single over 30 and happy, and that was fine. It was not demonetized. And then I just I like to play around with the titles to see if I can boost traffic or to see like how YouTube reacts to it. So I changed the title of the video to women react to sexist comments, and of course sexist has the word sex in it, and almost immediately it was demonetized. So clearly it's just like some sort of filter, and the algorithm just picks up the word sex and automatically demonetizes anything that explicitly is about sex. That's what I'm guessing based on this experimentation. So if that's the case, then I'm either gonna have to avoid putting sex in the headlines, which whatever, or I just have to put it in and say fuck it, which basically I've been doing. I've already long accepted that I'm not gonna be, I'm a small channel. Monetization honestly doesn't matter to me at this point. If you notice, I turn off like the pre-roll ads because I don't want anything to get in the way between like my viewers and my content, right? So I'm not expecting the money to be rolling in from AdSense. At the same time, it kind of sucks to just see how the system sort of works, and that there are other great channels out there like Sexplanations. I don't know how Lindsay Doe does it, but I don't know if she's able to monetize a lot of her content. But clearly that stuff is going to get flagged as well if my stuff is getting flagged, and I think it's unfortunate because it just makes it harder for those types of creators to put out the type of quality educational and analytical content related to sexuality that people can really benefit from. The two videos that were flagged for me were actually the one about sex robots, which, as if you guys saw it, was completely just news and analysis. There's nothing like pornographic in it. I do say like a bad word here and there, but in general, like, it's definitely nowhere near as racy as most of entertainment these days. I really honestly, just aside from like, I think I curse in the very beginning of the video, I can't imagine what could have possibly offended anybody. Like, the stuff that I talked about is nothing that didn't already appear in mainstream media, on TV and everything else. So the other one was a really super old video that was an unboxing of the Crave Vesper necklace, the first one that I got. So that is the vibrator necklace. It's beautifully designed by this industrial designer named T. Cheng. It's designed to be worn out in the open. Most people don't even know what it is, but it's a vibrator and it's pretty. And to me, it's like a symbol of sex positivity. It's a symbol of like, hey, it's okay to express, for a woman to express her sexuality and to acknowledge that she is a sexual being in public. You know what I mean? It's not even about whether you use the vibrator or not. So I talked a little bit about that in the video. I'm pretty sure I didn't cuss at all. I didn't even show my face in that video. It was just like literally me unboxing like my hands and the product, and somehow that got flagged as well. And that was just ridiculous. Like, I have no idea what could possibly be offensive about the idea that women masturbate, because I mean, masturbation starts way before the age of 18, for most people. There tends to be a double standard when it comes to sexuality, and then when it comes to like women's desire and conversations around that. So recently, actually, there's another company named Unbound, which makes sex toys and wearable sex toys and jewelry and stuff like that. They had these beautiful ads designed by a really talented illustrator, and they were banned by the MTA, which is crazy because the MTA also like advertises Viagra and like, condoms and stuff like that, and the Museum of Sex, which I happen to know personally that the Museum of Sex can arbitrarily, have certain ads banned from the MTA as well. But it's just like this weird idea that's like, oh God, it's so taboo to talk about female sexuality. And I think it's just crazy. So I feel like that video sort of falls into that category, and I'm not cool with it. I'm kind of pissed off enough to the point where like I looked at Vimeo, I looked at other platforms to see like, what is my backup plan in case YouTube decides one day that they're going to shut my whole channel down. So those age restriction things have been sort of bothering me this week. I did post a little bit about that, and I need to gather my thoughts on it and maybe talk about it a little bit more. But the other thing I wanted to update you guys on is Sex in the News. I know I haven't done one in a while, and I used to say that I was going to do them weekly. I still plan to do them weekly. I have to get my stuff together, and I'm sort of doing this new thing where I actually post news analysis as I go on Instagram. So if you want to see some of that news analysis before it even gets put out into a YouTube video, you can follow me on Instagram at The Sex Reporter. And the stories are just always going to be there. I have them up as highlights. They don't expire every 24 hours, in other words. So you can see like what is coming in on my news feed, what I think about it. I'll post what my criticisms are if I have them, or highlight stories that I think are really worth reading that are related to sex. So I think that that might be a good resource for those of you who are interested in those headlines. And then when I have time at the end of the week or at the end of every 2 weeks or something like that, I will pull that together, do a little bit extra research, and turn that into a Sex in the News video. So thank you guys for watching the first episode of Miata Mondays. I'm gonna try to be back with like a new, update video. Keep it short every week. Hit the subscribe button below if you like what you see on this channel, and also the little bell next to it, because that is what gets you notified every time I post new content. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.